So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this edition of our monthly webinar series. And actually, it's quite a special edition because it's my birthday today. So, really happy that you are able to join me. And to celebrate, I have a nice treat for you, which is a really nice, inspiring, and I hope a useful presentation about cycle highways. And that is what my colleague Pleun will explain to you in a bit. Just to guide you through the program for today. There's a lot to tell about cycling infrastructure, but in the end, as I tell in every webinar, almost every webinar, I think it's really relevant to focus on the design principles because they really help you make your cycling infrastructures to a success. I think these elements are transferable because they center around, in the end, the individual. And regardless the country, culture, or advancement in cycling you are, I think this is a universal principle. If we look at today we will further emphasize cycling highways, and there again we see how this could work in practice. A little bit of introductions. I will be short about it. A really short recap about the five principles. The case study for today, it's situated between Rotterdam and Dordrecht, the other way around. Some further information about learning opportunities, and then just a bit in a short 30 minutes, we will start some Q&As. So what I would like you to do as well, while my colleague Pleun is presenting and you have a question, then please put it in the chat window already, so we can do the Q&A and discussion after the presentation. So we will wrap up the story, then dedicate all the time to the questions you may have. Well, Pleun and I work for a company called DTV Consultants. We are road safety and cycling experts. One of the things we have been working on is the CRO, or the Dutch design manual for bicycle traffic, and a lot of route planning studies, conflict observations, road safety auditors, etc. Next to our work on planning, design, road safety and projects, we also do a lot of trainings and capacity building. In the Netherlands, our first training was in 1989, actually. So we've been doing that for quite a while, and on the international stage, we've been around for some decades as well. We are a member of the Dutch Cycling Embassy. Through dutchcycling.nl, there's loads of knowledge and information available on cycling, well, particularly cycling in the Netherlands and how that could be of use in the country where you might be, or you are located. Why are we doing this? These kind of webinars, it's also our passion to work on cycling infrastructure, but also helping you out to, well, perhaps make a shortcuts to Dutch history, so to say. But more important, how can you, well, apply it, translate it to your local conditions and circumstances. And this brings us really to where it's all about. So Pleun will introduce you the case study Dordrecht Rotterdam, which is about cycling highways or fast cycling routes. Perhaps you might be in a situation where you are actually planning cycle highways, but if you are not and you're just doing regular cycling infrastructure, please also listen to the underlying concepts on how certain decisions are made, what elements play a role. I think these are also very useful. These are applied to cycle highways, but they're also applicable to the first stretches of protected lanes, or the first networks in your cities or situations. So that's a small the small caption, or the small font for this story. So without further ado, Pleun, I would like to
Yes.
go over to you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Taya, for introducing the presentation for this case study. A small introduction. My name is Pleun Smits. I'm also a consultant at DTV Consultants, and I have expertise in cycling and road safety, not only as road user, but as consultant also. And in my opinion, a cycling culture starts with a direct, safe, and contiguous cycling network. So I am going to present you a case study of the route study between Dordrecht and Rotterdam for a new cycle highway, where the best route is chosen by applying these 5 design principles. So in this case study, we have assessed the route alternatives by applying the 5 principles for the purpose of getting the best route for the cyclist. And we have applied them in a SWOT analysis for this case study. In a previous webinar, the five principles were explained. So I will do this very shortly now. If you want more detailed information, I will refer to the website of the Dutch Cycling Embassy. There you will find knowledge clips for each principle. In this case study, we took into account cohesion, directness, attractiveness, road safety, and comfort. And shortly, with cohesion, we will assess the connection between the important destinations and the reduction of the grid size of the existing network. And with directness, we will assess the detour factor in distance and in time. And attractiveness is also important, but that's also a little bit subjective. But we assessed the public safety in this principle. And then road safety, that can be assessed by the number of crossings or the mix with other motorized traffic. And comfort can be added in the engineering phase, but in the route study, we took into account the number and the chance of stops. And after this route study, we worked out the preferred route in the sketch design. In the next case study, we also considered a lot of alternative routes to come to a preferred one. You see the map here of the Netherlands. We are in Breda. Dordrecht, Rotterdam is in the red rectangle. And the main goal was increased cycling. And the metropole region, Rotterdam, The Hague, is a very urban region. And the region has high ambitions to create a livable metropole. And one of the measures that contribute to that ambition is to increase cycling by improving the cycle network. So cyclists who cycle are encouraged to cycle more. And besides that, a model shift is also an ambition. So car drivers will be tempted to take their bike instead of their car. And the metropole region asked us to give insight into the best route between the cities Dordrecht and Rotterdam, to design the infrastructure and made a cost calculation together with all the involved road authorities. So let's zoom in a little bit. And there were 9 road authorities. So the black flags are the A and the B in this route study. And the distance is approximately 27 kilometers. So quite a long distance. This slide will show the process we've been through. We started with a SWOT analysis and with a cycle tour. I think the cycling tour is very important to get the project team and the stakeholders involved. We facilitated the workshops at the road authorities, 9 in total. And in this session, we jointly made a SWOT analysis for each route option. And when we finished the SWOT analysis and had an agreement about preferred route, we started with our design phase and the cost indication. And finally, we gave input for the letter of intent by the local government. So we started with the SWOT analysis. Now, while making the SWOT analysis, there were some requirements given by the metropole region. The requirements as shown in this slide were key. So you see on the left side of the slide. But there were some items which led to a discussion with the stakeholders, the involved road authorities, because the requirements conflicted with each other. Firstly, the design requirements of the metropole region, we had to take into account this in the SWOT analysis and later on in the sketch design as well. The more detailed requirements are shown in the yellow table. And these are the requirements for spatial integration, but there were some places where these requirements wouldn't fit, and this led to a discussion. In the first photo, we discussed a residential area, part of the shortest route, but too narrow to apply the preferred width. Should we follow the design requirements and choose another route? Or accept a deviation to create a more direct route. So that was a discussion. Now, secondly, the 5 principles were important. We tried to find the best route based on the 5 principles, but there were some discussions about the public safety versus the most direct route, who had high cycle potential. And as you can see in the second photo, you can imagine, is this wondering, is this attractive or not? Some people have the opinion this is attractive piece of nature, and other people might think this is mainly public unsafe and a creepy section. So discussions about public safety and directness. And the third photo, we also had to take into account the local restrictions, because there were some places which are just reconstructed, as shown in photo 3. Applying the design requirements will result in a new reconstruction, and local authorities doesn't like that, because it feels like a waste of money and non-efficient investments. So these were a few examples of discussions we had in the SWOT analysis, but we came to a consensus so we could advise a preferred route. And after the establishing the preferred route together, we started with the design. And of course, there were some challenges too. Sorry. Of course, the CROW design principles at the bike design manual are important. And in addition to these principles, we use the requirements of the metropole region. But the design was more like a iterative process. The sketch design resulted in some small modifications about the best route. So we made a few loops in the design phase between preferred modifications in preferred route and design phase. But we made a sketch design of the whole route. Next, I will show you 4 examples of bottlenecks we encountered by improving the cycling infrastructure. So referring to this slide, the first example, this tunnel on the preferred route is too narrow for a cycle highway and the expected number of cyclists. Moreover, there's not a robust sidewalk, as you can see in the photo, which means the pedestrians use the existing bike path as well. So we decided to reroute the cycle highway. The blue arrow and here shows the original route from the SWOT analysis, and the pink lines are the planned cycle infrastructure and the designed infrastructure. Moreover, the alternative route gives access to the main sports accommodation, and it's almost as direct as the original one. So the second example, you see a cycle street, Fietsstraat. This existing cycle street ends on a distributor road. In the design, the route will continue in the park, in front of the end of the cycle street, and a new intersection with traffic calming and priority for the cycle highway is designed to improve quality for cyclists. So that's shown on the design. A new bridge. In this slide, you will see a very busy distributor road, 7 lanes width, and a bridge for pedestrians and public transport. And in the you see it also on this picture, the pedestrians and the public transport above. In existing situation, the stairs are used by cyclists. They can push their bike upwards if the wheels are in that gutter. And in the design, we have foreseen in a cycle bridge over this road, as you can see in the design on the right side of this slide. So the route is more attractive, direct, and comfortable. But we haven't fit in all the requirements everywhere. This cycle path is too narrow according to the requirements, but no modifications are planned now. This infrastructure, this section is brand new, so we accept deviation to the requirements. So not every section is upgraded. Now, as you can see in this slide, we can improve the cycle network. The main results are shown in the table. 92% of the route is designed in accordance with the design requirements. In the design, there are 4 bridges which are going to be modified, and we have planned 5 new flyovers or tunnels for bikes, and 17.5 kilometers of cycle path will be upgraded, and 7 kilometers of new cycling streets, Fietsstraat, is part of the design. And there are in this design only 8 stops left on the whole route, which is more than 25 kilometers, and 6 of that stops are at traffic lights. So in my opinion, a lot of quality will be added on this route, and actually the Metropole region is working on a preliminary design of a few sections there right now. So that brings me to the lessons we learned. First lesson, to smoothen the process. It's very important to take the bike with the involved stakeholders so they can experience the route and discuss the bottlenecks at the different alternatives with each other. Another lesson is discuss the ambition, the goals, and the most important criteria with your stakeholders, and do this in advance of the route study. And that helps you in to coming to the best route. And then some lessons learned more apply to the content. Public safety is important because if the route isn't safe, it's killing for your cycling potential. And an optimal route is an utopia because bottlenecks will always remain. As shown in one of the examples, we have a good cycling infrastructure, but it doesn't fit in the requirements. So. And the shortest route from A to B is not always a preferred route, especially when the distance is longer, because how many people will actually cycle from A to B? A lot of people cycle only a part, just a part of the route. The shortest route isn't always the most preferred. So that brings me to my last slide. We have in the Netherlands high standards for spatial integration, but I think more important, road safety cannot be translated to a design dimension, but road safety is a forgiving, homogeneous, understandable situation. So hopefully this will give you insights to start with building your cycle network. Another recommendation is to start small. We have a route here from more than 20 kilometers, but start small. Create links with a lot of coherence, which are short and easy to build. So start with quick wins. And last but not least, be patient, because a cycling culture can't grow in a few years. So creating quick wins and add some bike parking, and very important, share your ambition, your results, and invest in a good marketing campaign to promote cycling. So that were my recommendations. And it was also my my explanation of the case of a cycle highway.
Yeah, that's me, Pleun.
Yeah.
No, so you were already concluding. So I thought that was my cue already. So to wrap up. So just a little bit of information. So of course, this is a very brief and short glance of how to apply these principles to this kind of route study, and very useful lessons learned explained by Pleun. So if you like to learn more, this is a webinar series that we do each month. So follow us, stay up to date. We have some more webinars planned the coming months. If you have the possibility to join us in the Netherlands, join us in our Dutch bicycle infrastructure training. The next edition is scheduled in June 24 to 28, which is the week after Velocity, which is organized just around the corner of here. It's in Ghent, in Flanders, Belgium, which is, well, approximately 90 minutes away from our training location in Breda. So have a look at our website at dtvcapacitybuilding.com. There's also a great after movie of the class of 22, which you see here that just graduated here. In this kind of programs, we have expert lectures. We have a lot of observation, a lot of cycling, a lot of action learning, we call it. And we will guide you in making the translation to what you hear, see, learn, experience, and observe to your own case. So that's really something to take home with after this inspirational 5-day training. And you take with you, of course, a nice certificate of participation that proves evidence of your experience over here. So have a look at our website, and perhaps I may meet you in person in the Netherlands. So this is where we conclude the talking. I will also stop the recording. Thanks for watching. If you don't see this in a live version, we will continue with our questions.